This time I'd like to make a video about the created universe actually, and in this video I'll try to depict that everything in the universe is practically energy, frequency, or vibration, as Nikola Tesla puts it. A good book that depicts the sacred geometry in nature is the following: A Beginner's Guide in Constructing the Universe. It displays practically the entire repetitive pattern that comes in nature and even in the universe. If you want to study the patterns or sacred geometry, then I suggest you get that book. Now we're going to watch a short video on Joshua Feuerstein, an internet activist who disseminates practically the so-called theory of evolution in under 3 minutes. Joshua Feuerstein is an internet activist, well, a Christian internet activist who believes in Jesus Christ and in God. The following video is a little bit stretched out, but it gives us under 3 minutes the basic concepts of what I also believe.
Hey guys, Josh Feuerstein here. You know, the other day I had an atheist tell me that I was an idiot, moronic, and stupid for believing in God, that he created this world, because it took way too much faith to believe in a process like that, while he believed in what he called the science of evolution. Well, let's go ahead and let's do this. Dear Mr. Atheist, first of all, let me correct you, because evolution is not a science, never has, and never will be. Why? Because it cannot fit within the parameters and parentheses of science for one simple reason: it was never observed. That's why it's not science. That's why it's called the theory of evolution. One man's theory. Now, let me show you how much faith it really takes to believe in evolution. You want me to believe that in some accidental cosmic bank, that out of that was created one cell, and from that one cell that all life springs, every plant, every animal, every single human being, and that somewhere along the way, over years and years, we mysteriously and magically all develop different wills, and we all develop different characteristics and traits, all because we willed it in our... I mean, you really think that everything came from one single cell? How much faith does that take? Now, I realize that you say that evolution is in science, and yet if we go back to science, the one thing that science demands, if maybe you've heard of something called the law of thermodynamics, which means that chaos can never produce order. Look at the world that we live in. The sun goes up, the moon comes out, we travel around the sun, we have years, we have days, we have seasons, the tide comes in and out, everything works like a clock. It has order. And yet, you cannot argue that a world that has order came out of an accident, because it defies the very logic and laws of science. You see, you think it takes a lot of faith for me to believe in a God that created this world, a God that created order, and yet, what if I were to tell you that somewhere in Oklahoma, a tornado rolls through a junkyard full of a bunch of old cars, and somewhere on the other side of that tornado, out of that junk pile, it magically produces a perfectly red, shiny, working Lamborghini? You would tell me I was nuts. You would tell me that I had lost it. You would probably try to admit me into the psychiatric ward. Why? Because that is absolutely stupid. I mean, how much faith would it really take to believe something as idiotic as that? And yet that's exactly what science believes. Science believes that in this accident came this perfectly working earth with human life, and with people and animals and plants and seasons and days and hours, and rotates. I mean, the atmosphere, everything in earth was created perfectly. And I'm telling you, that could never happen through an accident. It had to be by intelligent design.
I share his beliefs, or I came to the insight that life is way too complex to have evolved from a primordial soup of atoms millions of years ago. In the following video, we will read now an article practically depicting the entire universe being built on 3 basic principles: energy, vibration, and frequency. Afterwards, after reading the article, we will check out video footage on membranes, where there's actually certain sounds being produced, certain frequencies being produced, and practically sand on the membranes then take up forms or even start moving around in certain patterns, practically showing us that frequency or sound can influence matter down here. That is the same in the universe, only higher frequency, the so-called higher dimensions. Let's check out the article now. Well, this is from energyfanatics.com. Frequency and vibration, how they create the structures of matter and life. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration, Nikola Tesla. If you want to understand how the material world is created and what keeps it in a perpetual motion, we need to study the language of living energy codes of matter, which is made of light, sound, frequency and vibration. Most of us know that the material world is made of matter, but we do not understand the mechanics behind it. Conventional science taught us that the material world came into existence by accident. If we study the science of matter deeply enough, we should eventually come to the conclusion that the material world did not occur by accident. The fact that physicists can describe the universe using only mathematical formulas is proof that a divine being designed and created the material and external world. These formulas were not created by scientists, rather they were rediscovered. Well, it is a really interesting article, practically depicting the structure of the universe in real detail, using practically energy, frequency and vibration from the view of the external creation as an example. I suggest you read it. It compares it also to the digital world, the so-called binary system of our computers, and how this also applies up there because the frequencies and energies go up and down, or have a certain frequency that they vibrate on actually. Now we will check out a small video depicting practically frequencies manipulating a membrane, and this membrane practically where sand or other materials is put on changes according to the frequency.
The film you're about to see has no characters, it has no people. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things that answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes, but everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together. Sound is the basis of form and shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. We are told that this is how the worlds began and how creation took shape. If we put that into the modern idiom and say that into the great voids of space came a sound and matter took shape. Please watch carefully.
We can also use different shapes of plate. Here we have a triangular plate with a crystal attached to its underside and produce a sonorous figure. We change to a higher note and see a rather more complicated figure. This more elaborate figure, likewise on a steel plate, is also produced by vibration. The exciting crystal is attached to the upper corner of the plate. We use sand and lycopodium. The lycopodium moves to the center of the fields and takes up circular shapes. The sand forms the lines. Each material has its own special way of behaving. Lycopodium alone, a sonorous figure, transition to a mobile flowing phase, and back again to the figure. The sonorous figures represent stationary waves, but now we can also observe moving waves. Here the sand is flowing in a current. When the wavelengths are short, these currents produce a rotary effect. In vibrating glycerin, we see continuous waves which form the queerest figures. And yet, the extraordinary things we see here are simply and solely the effect of vibration. Here is a sonorous figure shown in a fluid. There are some wave fields where there was nothing before. Where there was previously sand, now there is nothing to be seen. The dynamic phase has become the static phase.
I already knew this before, actually, that certain frequencies make certain patterns appear, but I did not know that it's this complex. This research shows that sound influences matter practically to form certain forms or objects or geometrical shapes, and even movement is practically created by sound. And that is how practically the universe is also created. In the same manner, certain frequencies are emitted, be it now from the core or from the universal core or God. And this creates practically the universe as we see it. Even the earth has a certain frequency. Everybody has a certain frequency. Now we'll check out a short article I wrote some time ago on my blog, The Intelligent Design Theory. The Intelligent Design Theory, the creator of architect of life and the universe. What is the Intelligent Design Theory? The Intelligent Design Theory states that living organisms are way too complex to have evolved from some primal soup of atoms and amino acids. We are led to believe in school that life has started out of nowhere, that our ancestors are some type of monkey-like beings, and that we evolved from this entity a long time ago. If you are against the theory of Darwin, people will look at you in contempt and state that you're not a man of science for not believing in that theory. I went to high school, studied the theory, and believed it to be true, thinking that all those people believing some type of God or creator were idiots and not scientific. Even now I see others finishing high school, they actually believe that birds somehow evolved from prehistoric dinosaurs, like a T-Rex would eventually become some dove or eagle. I deprogrammed from the accepted and atheistical worldview that we evolved from some type of monkey entity millions of years ago. I believe man exists far longer than we believe. I even believe that we got settled here by another civilization from outer space. I know this sounds quite crazy or fantastic, but I've come to that conclusion. My personal conclusion after years of research and deep thinking, that we are either got settled here from another star, or that God created us in His image like in the Bible. Man is the most complex biological machine that exists. Everything from our inner organs to our cells, to the billions of terabytes of data stored in every cell of our body, makes the notion that we evolved by chance out of atoms colliding against each other utterly laughable. I do not reject the proven theory of genetic inheritance, but I do not accept that dogs can be turned into cats over the course of millions of years, simply by breeding certain aspects in and out of them. the female body, a complex biological machine, the human cell, the billions of biochemical reactions and DNA synthesis going on in a human cell, goes way beyond anything we understand. It will take 2 years to simulate what happens in one cell in 1 second, and still we will be assuming, not knowing everything what happens in a human cell. The DNA helix, this biochemical superstructure did not come into existence by chance. This is like stating the Empire State Building would eventually build itself over the course of millions of years, so long as the bricks and they are flying around. Atoms do not simply collide against each other to form complex RNA DNA superstructures. This is simply not possible or goes against reason. This is why I reject the notion that life evolved by chance billions of years ago. We can clearly see the incredibly complex design biological organisms have. Well, I made this video practically to depict another view on the universe, on how it is constructed, and that sound is a very important aspect of creation. I believe that many life forms on this planet are practically works of art, creations. They look so beautiful that it is utterly laughable to state that chance or coincidence created these animals, like the white lion. This is a white lion, very rare in the wild, and I see this practically as a sculpture, as a work of art, created by God. So the universe, nature, shows all signs of an intelligent design. Just look at your own body, on how complex it is built. It did not come into existence by chance. According to the Vedas, there were 500 million deities who all run in this enterprise of the universe or creation. There is some truth in every religion, and I believe that this universe is run by God, a supreme being, together with his natural counterpart, the Divine Mother, and that they have the enterprise or family that practically governs the universe. And many religions depict a battle or a so-called rebellion. With the Hindus it is Kali fighting Vishnu. In Christianity it's the devil and the whore of Babylon. In the Quran it is the devil again, or some type of evil entity. All these religions depict a battle in between the forces of negative forces who want to vanquish and enslave all of humanity and God in the process, and those that want to be free. They make you atheistical, such that your souls after you die remain on this realm. That is why they still practice ritual sacrifice of children to this day. Just Google Jewish ritual sacrifice as an example. They sacrifice us in their wars and in their diseases, and program us at the same time with the atheistical view that there is no afterlife and that there is no soul and that there is no God, because they want to consume your soul to extend their own lives. Evil is self-consuming. It is so full of hatred and negative that it consumes itself and needs souls from the source, God practically, to keep itself going. Evil actually will destroy itself eventually. But so long as they have the source of energy, like Neo from the Matrix, the so-called batteries, us, they will keep existing. This was my video practically on the intelligent construct of the universe, the creation of the universe. Hope you enjoyed it, and cheers.